Ladies and gentlemen, after reports that the Cubs were gaining momentum and closing in on a deal, Jed Hoyer has finally pulled it off. The Cubs make their biggest addition since I don't know when for Kyle Tucker, a player who could firmly establish himself as a superstar next season. Tucker, up until 2024, was a perennial 5 to 6 WAR player. He could be penciled in for 30 home runs, an average around 280, an OPS plus of at least about 130, a bunch of steals with very little times caught stealing, and at least average defense in a corner outfield spot. This player already sounds like he'd be the best player on the Cubs, but in 2024, Kyle Tucker took things a step further. As I mentioned in my last video, which was about the prospect of trading for Kyle Tucker, last season he went from a bona fide star to an MVP caliber player. He put up a 993 OPS, had an on-base over 400, slugged 23 homers, stole 11 bases without being caught once, and put up 4.7 BWAR, which would have led the Cubs all in just 78 games. You extrapolate some of these numbers to a full season, and Tucker is right up there with guys who finished in the top 3 of MVP voting in each league. His Baseball Savant page was also a thing of beauty last year. All that red and those mostly filled lines show that none of the success he found was due to good fortune. Tucker has an abundance of every skill a hitter needs to put up superstar numbers. He hardly struck out, walked an elite amount, smashed the ball off the bat, hit the ball with favorable launch angles, refrained from chasing, and limited his swing and miss, all at levels that combined to produce one elite, near perfect offensive player. In terms of sprint speed and defense, Tucker was not elite, but he still swipes bags with elite efficiency and was definitely passable out in right field. Immediately, this guy becomes the Cubs' best player and the best player to put on this uniform in quite a long time. Obviously, there is a lot to like about this trade. The one somewhat negative thing is that Tucker is only under contract for the 2025 season and is likely to pursue free agency, where, assuming he does anywhere near what he did last year next season, the Cubs are going to have to give him a far larger contract than they have ever handed out to keep him around. I'm talking a decade-long $300+ million deal. It feels like something the Cubs wouldn't want to do, but for the price they got Tucker, they really don't need to do it to validate this trade. Heading to Houston is a 25-year-old Isaac Paredes, a solid third baseman who might not have done much of anything with the Cubs, but will feast on the Crawford boxes out in left field at what was formerly known as Minute Maid Park. Also heading to Houston is the Cubs' most recent first-round pick, third baseman Cam Smith. Smith is an excellent prospect, one Cubs fans should be sad to see go, and Astros fans should be very happy to receive. Thing is, the Cubs have a lot of great prospects, infield ones at that, and Smith is at an earlier place than most of them in his development. The third piece of this return is Hayden Wesneski. Not much to say about Hayden. He's a reliever at this point in his career. He's 27 years old. He's really struggled, but he does have some interesting stuff that the Astros could try to unlock. He's not a huge loss for the Cubs. The most valuable asset they are losing is probably Cam Smith, followed by Isaac Paredes, who is under control for 3 more seasons. Those are great acquisitions for Houston and guys you don't love to see leave the Cubs organization. But, at least for 1 year, one of the American League's finest players over the past 5 seasons, a 3-time All-Star with a Gold Glove, a Silver Slugger, and World Series experience, is now a Chicago Cub. He joins a lineup with Seiya Suzuki, who he will now give great protection to or will be protected by, as well as above-average hitters like Ian Happ and Michael Busch, and a plethora of other around league average guys, most likely not including Cody Bellinger. It seems like the spot for Tucker will be right field. That's where he's played and he does grade out better than Seiya Suzuki. Seiya doesn't want to DH full-time, so we may see some type of rotation here. Both of these guys, though, are hitters who will lead this team to wherever they may end up next season. Are the Cubs ready to contend for the playoffs? Well, you let me know in the comments. Let me know what you think about the trade. Big day for the Cubs, guys. Hope you enjoyed. Hope you're happy about this, and I will see you in the next one.